Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Your strange things do happen in this world. The message, it reads like this. Hello, my brother. How are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So, my brother, I started being a prophet when I was still back home in Zim. I can say that just before we had written our O-level exams, that was when I had a dream and I saw that my grandfather was telling me to climb up this other mountain, for he wanted me to meet someone who was going to change my life. So when I woke up early in the morning, I went and I spoke with my father, and my father then said that this meant that my ancestors wanted to bless me. So I was supposed to do whatever my grandfather wanted me to do. My father then told me that if my grandfather would visit me again in my dreams, all that I had to say was that, please forgive me, for I am nothing but a child. We have forgotten our ways. Please show me the correct way to worship you. So the very next day I had a dream and I was told that I was supposed to go into the mountain and I was supposed to pray, because in that mountain there was a man that I was going to meet. So I then told my father, who told me that yes, I needed to go into that mountain, but my grandfather had told me that I was supposed to stop eating because I was supposed to go on a 2 weeks fasting. All that I had to do was to eat some fruits that I would find in that mountain. I then spoke with one of my best friends, who is still my partner even up until this day. I told him that this is what the spirit of my grandfather had told me. He agreed because he also wanted to become a white garment prophet. I said, if my ancestors are going to bless me with the gift of prophecy, then I am going to make you my right hand man. So we agreed, my brother. Then we went into that mountain. All that we ate for 2 weeks were fruits that we could find in that mountain, and we would go to this other little stream where we would drink some water. We kept on praying and praying, but that man that I was supposed to meet, the man never came. So I didn't know that you can actually see like an angel, but this angel won't have any wings like we were taught in Sunday school. So on the last day, when we said that the very next morning we were supposed to climb down that mountain, that was when I met a man. I just had a small diarrhea and I said, let me go and relieve myself behind those bushes. So I left my friend. He was really hungry at that time. He was just resting underneath this other tree. Then found this other perfect spot whereby I could actually see everything in all directions, because I was scared that whilst I was busy relieving myself, then I started to relieve myself. Just after I had relieved myself, I didn't have any toilet tissue. I had this other small branch that I had taken. So I was busy removing the leaves from that branch. And as I was about to wipe myself, that was when I saw a man who was standing on the other side of that small bush that I was hiding behind. This man, he kept on looking at me. So it was really weird to me. But I then stood up and I shouted at him and I said that the thing that he was doing, it was something that was really crazy. How could he stare at a man who was busy relieving himself? This man, he then spoke with me. But when he spoke with me, my brother, I could not understand him, because he spoke using this deep Shona that was so deep that I could not even understand him. This man kept on speaking with me, but I could not understand him. That was when he walked towards me. This was after I had finished wiping myself, and he told me that I was supposed to kneel down before him. And I found myself kneeling down before him because I had remembered that this was the man that my grandfather had told me about. This man, he touched me on my forehead and I fainted. When I woke up, I saw that it was my friend who was busy pouring some water on my head. He said, I think that we are too hungry. Let us go down. Let us go back home. And I agreed. So we returned back home and I told my friend about this man that I had met. So this man, he kept on visiting me like each and every time when I'll be busy herding the cattle and the goats. I would always see this man. He started to teach me everything about the Bible, everything I started to understand. Even right now, There is no need for me to read the Bible, because everything that happened in the Bible, it was revealed to me by this man in a sort of like a vision. Then I started to go around trying to assist people, because I thought that this was what this man wanted. So after this man had blessed me, he then gave me a go ahead to start my own church. So at my father's compound, that was when I had my first white garment church. People would come from different places. People would bring their relatives, some of them that were mentally ill, and I started to cure those that were sick. And news started to spread around, and we started to make money. And I think that the love of money made me to become the person that I am right now, because there was this other particular trip whereby we were called by this other man. He had his house in the next town, but he had his farm close to our village. So when he heard that there was this young prophet in that village, he came and he spoke with my father. So my father then told me that this was our opportunity, our only opportunity in life to make money. And my father charged this man at least 20 cattle, because in his family, his own grandfather had murdered this other woman, so that I can assist him at his farm. When I went to his farm, I clearly saw my grandfather. He was walking in front of me, but he then turned around and he said, "Do not do this. I forbid you to help this family, for they are very rich. Even though they are rich, they do not want to pay the relatives of this woman that they killed." But because my father had been promised 20 cattle, when I spoke with him, my father then said, "No, I think it is a false vision that you had. Let us go and assist this family." So we went, my brother, and we started to pray whilst I was chasing away the spirit of that woman who had been murdered by that man's grandfather. After I had chased a spirit and locked a spirit inside this other glass bottle, and I gave that glass bottle to that man who had hired me, and he went and he threw it in the river. And from there on, my brother, that was when I started to see like blurry visions of my grandfather walking away from me, until I stopped seeing my grandfather altogether. Even that man, he stopped visiting me like that angel that I used to see. So since people knew that I was someone who had a lot of powers, I started to use my experience, like assisting people and using all the things that the men had taught me. I would go out and get some herbs, and I would lie to the people that would come at my father's compound that these were holy prayers. In fact, they were just herbs that I would have gone to dig in the forest, as that man had revealed to me. So I started to go around making a lot of money, but I was nearly caught, because what we started doing is that we had these other guys that used to work at this other game park. So they would catch some snakes for us, like your poisonous snakes, and then they would remove their teeth so that they won't be poisonous anymore. That is the snakes that we would use. We would place that snake like in your house before we would have came to assist you. Then when we are busy assisting you, we will go straight to that place where we would be keeping these poisonous snakes. Usually we would sneak into your house late at night. This is after you would have consulted with us. Then we would come at night when you are fast asleep. Then we'll just find any place where we would sneak in and place that snakes. And usually this snake, we will tie some red cloth around that snake so that you can believe that this snake, it is actually a tokoloshi. That is how me and my friend were making our money. Even right now, that is what we are still doing. So in Zim, things really got so bad and no one had the money to pay me anymore. People would pay me with goats and chickens, and I wanted hard cash. That was when we came here to South Africa. When we came here to South Africa, the story that I wanted to tell you, it is a story that I did. It still pains me a lot up until this day, because I destroyed that woman's home. I destroyed her marriage. So this woman, we were actually staying right next door to her. The problem was that her husband was an alcoholic. He was addicted to alcohol. So that woman, she came because she saw a lot of people coming in and out at of that place that I was staying. She asked me, what is it that I was doing? I told her that I was a prophet, and I told her the story of me meeting that angel in that mountain. She then told me that she also wanted me to assist her, but the problem, this woman was too beautiful, my brother. And when I was looking at her, I started to lust after her. And I said, how am I going to sleep with this woman? And people had told me that I was supposed to stay away from these South African women. Otherwise, they will get me arrested. They will say that you raped me. So what I did is that I started to use some prayers on her. I gave her some prayers and I said, you see these river stones, I want you to go and place them in underneath your pillow. And each and every night when you go to bed, I want you to pray at exactly 9 p.m. So when this woman will be busy praying at 9 p.m., then I'll also be praying, but I'll also get out of my house. And when I would be praying for her, I'll be particularly wearing those red garments instead of the white garments, because I'll be preparing for war, and I'll be calling the angels of the West so that they can come and help me to fight, so that I can get this woman to fall in love with me. So the prayers that invite the angels of darkness, I did those prayers, my brother, until that woman one day, she came to my house. It was in the afternoon. And she came and she just stood in my room, and I asked her what she was doing. Then she started crying, and asked her why was she crying. Then she said all her life she had been searching for a man like me. And I said, so why are you crying? Because here I am. Take me, for I am yours. So in her mind, she thought that she was the bad person who seduced a holy prophet. Yet I was the one who did those prayers for her. My brother, when I did these prayers inviting the spirits of darkness to come into her life and to seduce her to fall in love with me, I was only supposed to do it for a short period of time. But I lost control, my brother. I kept on using these prayers on her until she broke up with her husband. She came and she stayed with me, but I didn't have any plan to be with her for the rest of her life. So I ran away from her and I returned back home to Zim. But this woman, she still pains me a lot whenever I think about her, because of the things that I did. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our brother there. We saying that he did these prayers inviting the angels that reside in the West, the angels of darkness, the angels who resides in that place where the sun goes to when it sets. Strange things do happen in this world.